So I'd like to walk you through an entire event setup for EventBoard and show you the spreadsheet in each individual tab. There are certain tabs which are required for the app to run, and those are in red. These two in yellow here are just to group them together so you recognize that sponsorship levels and sponsors go together. What I'm going to do is go through each individual tab, and then I'll explain each individual column within them so you know exactly what you're doing when you're putting your own event together. If you have any questions, visit our support portal at www.eventboardmobile.com/support. Let's get started. The first thing to notice about all of the tabs is that up through session types, you are only entering information. On the Sessions tab, you're taking all that information and syncing it to your individual sessions. So I'll show you exactly what I mean, but first let's start with tracks. With the tracks, you're just going to put the track name in, the description if you have one, and then a color. If you don't have a hex code, or you don't know how to find one, it's quite simple. Go to www.colorpicker.com and then select the actual color that you want to use. Let's say that I want to use this teal color. Select the number, Command C or Control C if you're on a Windows computer, and then go back into Excel and just paste it in. In the tags column, enter any tags that you want to use to sync up multiple sessions. And that's all that you have to do here. You're going to go in and select those tags again when you get to the Sessions tab. In the rooms, enter the room name or number, and then the building that it's in. If it's all in the same building, no problem. Type it in once, and then drag it on down to just copy it. The Levels tab is used to assign difficulty level with each individual session. This name can either be numbers or letters, and then the description can either be numbers or letters. So for example, if you have a 100 level course or you have a 101 level course, and that's really for beginner or entry level people, you can add that in and you can sync that up in the Sessions tab. The Time Slots tab is required. You must fill out the Time Slots tab. Think of time slots this way. You can have one time slot, for example, Friday morning sessions, and multiple sessions can fall under that time slot. So maybe you have 5 sessions that happen on Friday morning. With the Audiences tab, you can group certain sessions by the certain type of person that it's for. In our spreadsheet, for example, we have the artist audience. We have a number of sessions which are based around graphic design. They're not particularly technical, and they're targeted at people who are graphic designers or who are user interface designers. Because of that, anyone who falls under that category can tap on that in the app by going to Audience and Artist, and they can see all of the sessions that are relevant to them. You can enter as many or as few as you like. If you don't feel like you need to use audiences, no problem. Just leave it blank and it won't show up in the application. Moving on to speakers. With speakers, enter their first name, last name, company, their title. A URL may be their company's URL or their personal website if they have one. Enter a biography for them. And if you have a place online that is hosting their photo, you can simply copy and paste that URL. If the photos are on your hard drive and you cannot get them onto a website somewhere to be able to copy and paste the URL, that's no problem. Send the spreadsheet to us. After we receive it and when we turn your app live, we'll give you a login to our portal. From there, you can upload the image directly to the application. The final column here is for Twitter. If they have a Twitter handle, enter it without the @ symbol. Moving on to the Session Types tabs. Session types are important for 2 reasons and are also required to allow the app to run. The first reason is because you can use session types as a filter. If someone's interested in seeing only regular sessions, like lectures for example, or they're only interested in seeing the keynote, or they want to make sure they understand when the lunch is, things like that, they can do that by going to Session Type, and then viewing the individual session types here along with the description. Another reason that this is important is for session surveys. If you have a session survey that you'd like to be asked after a regular session, you do that from within session types. By naming the survey Session Survey and having that linked to a regular session, any session which has this session type applied to it will also have a session survey. So if I search by session type, click on regular session, find one that's ended already, I'll see that provides session feedback. Let's say that the regular session did not have a session survey attached to it, so this was blank. If this would be blank, this would not be here. One other reason why it's important is that you can also show certain session types on everyone's agenda. If we go back to the beginning here under sessions, and I look at my personal agenda, I can see that certain sessions do not have heart icons next to them. To do that, go into Show on Agenda, and for each session, for example, lunch, select True from the Show on Agenda drop-down menu. If you select True, it will show up here. If you select False, it will not. From there, users cannot remove it from their application. This way, they'll always know when breakfast, registration, lunch, network dinners, after parties, etc. all are during your event. The next tab is Sessions. This is required because you have to have sessions at your conference. In this tab, the only thing that you must add in that is different from the rest is the title. Description is not required, although we definitely recommend it. From there, all of the data that you've entered in the previous tabs, from tracks through session types, shows up here in a drop-down menu. Time slot, for example, if I tap on the time slot drop-down, I can see all the different session types that are there, or I'm sorry, all the time slots, for example. If I tap on the drop-down menu for time slots, I can see all of the different time slots that are available to choose from. I know that this session goes on Friday morning. This session actually also goes on Friday morning, so I'm going to click that and change it. Over on the speakers, simply choose the speaker from the drop-down menu. Now let's say that you have more than one speaker. It's no problem. Put a / after the first speaker, and then type the next speaker in. If you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 speakers, that's no problem either. Simply continue doing the same thing by putting a / in, and then typing the speaker's name in. Under tracks, very similar thing can happen. You may have sessions which fall under multiple tracks. Enter the first one by selecting from the drop-down menu. We'll choose Cloud Development, and then put a / and then type in the second one. Same thing goes for tags, where you choose the first one and then type in the rest of them. With audiences, select the audience from the drop-down menu. If you have some form of internal reference code which you're using to keep track of all of the sessions that you're doing, you can enter it here. If you don't, just leave it blank and it's not going to show up in the application. And then finally, the session type. Be sure to choose the correct session type for each session. We only have a few more tabs to go. These two yellow tabs are sponsorship levels and sponsors. The first thing that you want to do is choose the sponsorship levels tab and enter all the different levels. This could be anything. You may have a mobile sponsor. You may also have your gold, silver, so we'll add gold in here as well. And you may also have exhibitors. So we'll add those in too. Add a description. I'm just going to copy and paste that from there. And then add a rank. You can leave this blank as this is chosen from the portal. Under the Sponsors tab, you're going to actually type in the sponsor's name, give a description of the sponsor. Again, that can be as long or as short as you want. Type in the sponsor's website, add their logo. Same thing with the speaker headshots. If you have a link to their logo, probably on their website, you can copy and paste it in. If you don't, you can upload it into our portal once the spreadsheet has been uploaded and the app is live. Under sponsorship level, choose the correct one from the drop-down menu. We'll make Falafel our mobile sponsor, and we're going to make Telerik our gold sponsor. If the company has a Twitter handle, add it here without the @ symbol. And then this button here, Showcase, if you say true, it will rotate at the front of the application. So if we go back and take a look at our app, we can see that there are certain logos which are rotating here. The Falafel logo, for example, or the Telerik logo. There's a Falafel logo right there. If you say true, the logo will show up here. If you say false, it won't. And instead, sponsors are going to live right here. The final one is survey questions. The name of the survey will always be session survey, so that's already inputted for you here. All that you need to do is create a sort order for the questions to show up in, type in your question, mark whether or not it's required to be answered before the user submits it, and then choose your question type. You can have 5-star, yes or no, text, or long text. It's that simple. This sums up how to complete the entire Excel spreadsheet for EventBoard. Again, if you have any questions, visit our website at www.eventboardmobile.com/support. Thanks and good luck.